Now, a big talking point that's thrown out a lot about men is that insecure men can't handle the strong, powerful woman, the boss babe. You know it. Let's listen to that debate, and then I'll tell you what I think.
It's the insecure man that says, "Oh, I'm intimidated by the woman that has her own. I'm intimidated by the woman that has a house. I'm intimidated by the woman that has a car, that has a successful job." Because if a man was confident enough and sure enough in his manhood to say, "I can retire you," just like, think about it. You think about Tabitha and Chance. You know, Tabitha ended up retiring her husband, but for a long time, her husband supported her in her matriculation through social media and getting to stardom or whatever. But there's a thing where men can be confident enough to say, "Look, I know I'm striving to make this. When I do make this, I can retire you." But there's nothing wrong with the woman being the breadwinner as long as she has.
Let's stop it. This is the disconnect. And the disconnect starts here, and then I have an even better clip. And I think my most important clip of the show is actually the last one. You're like, "Jed, why'd you do that?" Got to keep you in here. You know what I'm doing. You know. All right. So this idea that insecure men can't handle successful women and that it's a confidence issue, it is not. It is not. That is untrue. So let me explain this. And I'm trying to say this in a way, and guys in the chat, please tell me if I'm right. I don't feel that men are intimidated by successful women. I don't feel they're intimidated by your financial success, your climbing that ladder. That's not what happens. What happens oftentimes is they don't like what happens to you, your personality, your demeanor, your essence when you go that route. They don't like that you lose all of the traits that are the whole reason why they were there to begin with, and you become this career-focused, driven, head-down woman who kind of acts like a man. Do you understand? Now try to follow that thought. So the reason guys aren't there, they'll support you in your decision to work. They'll love if you say you found a passion that you like, they will support that. But that's not why they're there. That's not why they're there. They're not there because you're going to be the CEO of a company. They're not there because you're climbing a ladder. They're not there for your finances. That's not why they're there. That may be stuff you're proud of, and that's fine, but that's not why they're there. They are there because they want a loving, supportive wife. They are there because you bring a positive, pleasant, happy demeanor to the house. They are there because you don't give off a stressful energy because you haven't maybe ideally been dealing with a bunch of you know what all day at work, and now you come home and you're like this. They're there because they want a mother for their child who's going to be nurturing. They want you to be happy. They want you to give off happy energy. That's what they love about you. They want you to be feminine. And with femininity comes a degree of softness. And I don't know how to describe what happens to a lot of women in corporate America, but they lose their softness. And the best way I can say is that I understand it because I was in that world. And what you see is a lot of these high-powered women have to always be like this because they have to sit across the table from high-powered men. And in many ways, they begin to mimic and become them in terms of energy. They become stoic. They become hardened. They become, head down, career-driven, focused. They become different because you can't survive that world oftentimes if you have a gentle, soft, more relaxed, more pleasant demeanor. And I can even remember my own story of walking into those rooms and having to negotiate salaries. I remember my agent, I had a very tough female agent, complete boss babe, top to bottom. And she would say, "You go in there and you do this." And I'd say, "Oh, that's just not me." That's just not me, And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personal story one day. I'm going to do a show on that because people have a lot of misconceptions about me and my story. And they say, well, how could you be talking about boss babes? You are one. Not even a little bit, doll. Not even a little bit. My story is odd. But that career stuff that you love so much isn't why he's there. So what they don't like is that you enter that world and you change. And what happens is you gain all of the attributes of a successful man, driven, stoic, focused, multitasking, stressed out, right? Analytical. You gain those things, but you lose all of the reasons why he wanted you in the first place, which is that you were kind and you were kind of like soft-spoken sometimes and feminine and wanted to have sex, right? Weren't too tired from a long work day and all the stress and juggling to have sex. They want you to want to have sex. Guys want that, right? And that you loved work-life balance and you had that work-life balance and that made you happy. So you had time for your kid and you had time for yourself and you had time for your family and you had some of that freedom to breathe that put a smile on your face. That's why they're there. That's what they love about you. And guys will work their buns off to give you the opportunity to have that freedom, to bring that smile to their space. They will work and work and work so that you don't have to go through some of the stressors that they do, because it's more important to them that you not bring home the extra bacon and that instead you feel happy and bring that energy to the home. Because it's so valuable to have. It's very hard to have two people working high-powered jobs, super stressed out, dealing with that all day, coming home, juggling. It's very challenging. It is. It just is. And it simplifies it a little bit, actually a lot, if one of those people has a little bit of flexibility, right? So just think about what I'm saying. Just think about what I'm saying. Okay, so there again, my point is though, they're not upset, they're not intimidated by your success. They just don't want you to become something that they don't like. They want you to hold on to that precious stuff that is the reason they were there in the first place, and it has nothing to do with how much money you make. Again, this is not to disempower women. You want to go get that CEO job, you go do it, but just understand that's not why the guy's there. It's not why he's there. So if you lose that stuff, that amazing stuff that is why he's there, you're going to have a problem. And you have to be willing to understand that, because if he lost the stuff you really value, the financial security, being a protector, all of those things, you'd have a problem with it, and rightfully so. Men and women are different. Accept it, acknowledge it, and your life will be so much richer and so much better. If you want to watch the full episode, you're going to click right here. And if you want to ask me a question one-on-one, you want to do a one-on-one FaceTime with a group of your friends, whatever you want, you need to download Connect right now. Click right here and let's get talking.